Yes.
I have to
Okay.
do that. Yeah.
This one says holding on to resentments is like taking a shit in your own heart.
Say that again?
It says holding on to resentments is like taking a shit in your own heart.
That is awesome.
And then it says, yeah, it's that gross and pointless. Let that shit go. Look up a loving kindness meditation on the internet and do it. Focusing on love is like taking a baby wipe to your heart.
That's not, I like that.
I love these. These cards are the best.
I like yours
That's
better than the ones
awesome.
I got. What the WTF ones?
Yeah, you got grateful AF. These ones are spiritual.
Oh, yeah.
I like them both. I got them on Amazon. This is what they look like. I love them.
Mine are the blue ones, yeah.
All right, let's I'll get started. If everyone can mute, please.
Hold on.
Make sure everyone's muted. All right. So I put in the chats that I want to do like a more intensive, smaller group for people, and I'm pretty sure almost everybody on here has messaged me about it for the most part, almost everybody. And it's just going to be for people who are really going to be running at these bonuses and running at this trip, like no holds barred, like just running at it with that sureness of that's where I'm going. I'm going to be showing up for it every single day. And I really want it to be a group where everybody who's in it is active on a daily basis within the group. I want to support each other. I want to cheer each other on. I want to be able to, I don't know, like call each other out on our bullshit, but not in a, I mean, in a very supportive way, always in a very supportive way. But just to be able to keep each other accountable, I guess is a better way to say it than calling out on bullshit. Because I don't really mean calling out on bullshit. I mean, just helping to keep each other accountable. You know what I mean? Because if you're just posting one slide on your stories, two slides on your stories, you're not going to get the bonus doing that. You're just not. And you just have to be really realistic with yourself. And for everybody, it's going to look different. It's not like we're all going to have the same exact way there. There's different things that we each need to show up and work on. We all know what those things are that we're just not doing. I mean, if we really stop and think about it, I know the things that hold me back. And I think all of us, for the most part, know those things that are holding us back. We know the areas that we need to work on more. And this will help. It will also help in getting ideas from each other. If we're all working together and we're thinking out of the box, we all have things to be able to learn and grow through each other with. And that's the beauty of this business, is really learning and growing through each other. Because I know for me, I learn and grow through you guys every single day. I love reading the stuff that you put out there. It gives me ideas. It inspires the shit out of me. And watching you guys grow and running beside you in this is a gift. It's truly a gift. You all have opened up my world so much. And if we have like kind of closer access to each other where, we all know that we're showing up and we're doing this every day, it's not always going to be easy, but we most certainly have each other. We have each other. And we're not alone in this. We're running, linked arms and going at it. And knowing that, like sometimes when you're looking in the chats, we don't always necessarily feel like, if there's a lot of people in there, we don't always necessarily feel like every single person is running, or sometimes it's hard to have blinders on. In this group, everybody's head is down and they're running. And it's not about comparing. It's about just moving forward and growing together. I also want to challenge people in there. So for some people, it might be hard. Like if you haven't gone face to face on your stories and you haven't gone live, and that's something that's going to be difficult for you, I do really feel that it's important. I've been paying such close attention lately to the common threads among the people who are really successful here. And it is definitely a common thread that every single one of them talk face to face on their stories. Every single one of them go live. Every single one of them share the emotion behind why it is that they do this, what it's done for them, where they're going. And opening that up and being vulnerable can be hard. I know for me, it's definitely hard to share certain parts of myself and certain parts of my life. And I made myself do it on my live earlier. I very rarely talk about like my addiction or talk about some of the things growing up, like some of the traumas that I experienced growing up and stuff like that. There are things I'll never share because it's just deeply personal to me. And I don't have to share everything. I only have to share what I'm comfortable sharing. But I wanted to be more open and vulnerable and honest because I really saw what that's been doing for a lot of people. When we were on the bus, we had a conversation with Rebecca Cantrell. I believe she is a 40K, and probably a 40K on multiple accounts. But she was just talking about, really sharing some of those harder things to share. And that was kind of what really got me thinking when it came to, I've seen all of these people who are really successful. Every single one of them have done that. Every single one of them have gotten to a place on their page where they're crying because what they're sharing is so powerful and emotional to them. And I'm not one who really likes to cry in front of people. I've done it here and there a couple of times, but just, getting to that point of allowing myself to be emotional beyond that point where my body reacts to it and starts to tell me to pull back, because that happens to me all the time. It happened to me earlier in the live that I was doing. I felt myself get emotional and I was like, don't pull back now, because I know that I do that. As soon as I start to feel that like panicky feeling in me, I stop myself and I'll make a joke or I'll talk about something else, or I'll just not really say what it was that I intended to say. I'm going to push myself to say those harder things because I have to look at that emotion that I'm feeling as possibly being a reason why. Maybe I feel like that because it's what's meant to be said. Maybe I feel like that because this is what I need to be saying. But whatever it is, I want to make that group a place where we can hold each other accountable and where everybody in the group is showing up on an everyday basis to grow and to get better and better at what we do. And to learn how to be that leader, because this is such a mindset business. I think it's mindset above all else. I really do. And I think that's why you can see people from so many different walks of life be successful at this, from the person who has zero experience to the person who has a business degree. And you could have someone with zero experience walk in here. Hold on. You can have someone with zero experience walk in here and blow that person with the business degree away, because it is such a mindset business. And that's why personal development is so important. And personal development is a really personal thing because, again, what works for me might not necessarily be what works for you. But it's a matter of growing yourself there, growing yourself and arriving there in your mind first. Because it's not like you're going to get a team and become a leader. You need to become a leader and then you're going to get the team. You know what I mean? And it's kind of backwards in that way, but that is how it works. So, really pushing ourselves to be that leader first and pushing ourselves to build our confidence as much as possible so you can show up as that badass team of one. That's how you're going to get to that point where you're showing up with a level of confidence. It's the level of confidence of the rank that you're going for, and what does that mean for you? Let me just get to I didn't really write notes, but I did have like bullet points. Hold on, I don't know who's unmuted. Okay, I got it. You become a different person as you're running for these bonuses, even if you don't get it. When I was running for my first trip, I didn't get it, but I really lined myself up for getting the next one because I taught myself how to run. I taught myself how to be my own runner, which means not depending on anyone else under me to do anything. It's all about what I'm doing. And that's why I love that on the trackers, it's not so much based in what your team is doing. It's really based on what we're doing ourselves. And I have a lot of respect for Lavelle doing that because they really want us to learn how to be our own runners. Be your strongest leg every time, you know? And really imagine what it is like if you bring people in. So what do you want the people that you bring in here, the promoters that you bring in here, what do you want for them? How do you want them to be? How do you want them to function in this business? What things do you want them to do? Right? Like you want them to grow in their confidence. You want them to pour into themselves. You want them to show up in the chats and speak their heart. You want them to be on the Zooms. You want them to do all of these things. You want them to show up every single day for themselves and all of those things that they say they want. So think about all of these things that you want for your team to do, and then take a good, hard, honest look at what you're doing. Are you doing those things? Because if you're not doing those things, you are not going to have a team that does those things, you know? So keep like diving into those areas that you know need work. And it is going to be uncomfortable sometimes because it's the uncomfortable things that we put to the bottom of the list. I know because I tend to do that too, or I did for a long time. Now, if there's something that I really don't want to do, I do it first because I know myself. And I need to get those things that make me uncomfortable out of the way first. We were in Christina Brill's room, and it was Christina, Brielle, and Megan, and Kingston, who's Megan's husband, and Connor, who was Christina Brill's boyfriend or fiance, actually. So we were in their room, and there was one point that Megan, who really likes to put people on the spot, I think it's kind of like her thing, but she had said, go live, like for Gloria to go live right then and there. And we ended up leaving, so we didn't do it, but we were going to go live and we were going to do this boomerang where each of us were supposed to say a piece of advice. And my initial thought process when she said that was like, oh my God, why am I even in this room? Like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to do that. I don't want to like be put on the spot. Like my heart started racing like, oh shit, are we really going to do this? And then within a matter of as quickly as that happened, I was like, hell yes, I want to do this. And I was so ready for it. And I was actually really bummed that we didn't end up doing it because that's what I want. That's what I'm here for. And I used to shy away from that stuff so bad. And I would run because I'm not a spotlight person. I really don't like all eyes on me. And I've gotten used to going live on my own page and doing it with my own audience. And I've gotten used to doing Zooms like this with you guys. And sometimes I still get nervous, but I still get nervous doing lives. I still get nervous going face to face sometimes. I still get nervous on these Zooms, but I've grown a lot more comfortable with it. You know what I mean? And so doing it on her page was like high pressure. There are going to be so many people that see this that I'm not used to speaking in front of. And I wanted it so bad in that moment. And I've learned how much I've grown, because that is something that I would have ran from before. And the fact that I'm like hungry for it now, it just shows me how much I've grown. And to see so much of my hard work come full circle with earning this trip, I don't know. It's worth all of those darker moments. It's worth those times that you question yourself. It's worth those times that you're humbled. It's worth every mistake when you look back and think I overspoke. I was word vomiting. I said way too much and I lost that customer. Or I don't know, any situation that you've questioned yourself in, those are the things that are building you. Those are the things that really matter. Be so all about what we do so that when you make mistakes, you just file that away as something that you've learned from, and get back up every single time. Give nothing and no one the power to knock you off your game, especially yourself, especially yourself. Because we will always be our own worst critics every single time. We will pick ourselves apart. I have a tooth that's missing right here, and I have one that I can click in so you can't really see it. But things like that used to hold me back. It's a fucking tooth. We all have issues with stuff like that, and no one's looking at it like I'm looking at it. But I allowed that shit to hold me back for a really long time, you know? And there are people out there that need to have somebody stand up and say, I'm just as valuable, even though I'm missing this tooth right here. I'm just as valuable, even though I went through the things that resulted in my losing that stupid tooth. And I was thinking earlier when I was going on that live to talk about some of the things from my past and some of the things that make me more emotional and the things that I allowed to hold me back out of like guilt or shame or things like that. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. I've made more than I could ever possibly count. But you know what? It's all of those things and it's all of that trauma and it's all of the learning from my mistakes that made me exactly who I am today. And so I'm grateful for every single one of those things. I'm grateful for every time I feel like I made a fool out of myself here or anywhere in my life because it's the building of me. All of that is the construction of me, of myself. And there are going to be times that it gets delayed or you fix things up a certain way and you have to tear it down and you have to rebuild it again. That's life. And there is no person out there in this business or any other business who got there by not failing first, or who got there built on zero mistakes. No one's perfect. And we don't see the fight behind so many people's stories, but believe me, it's there. It is there. Those people question themselves just as much as we do. They just keep moving through it anyways, you know? Make your why and where you're going so important that you couldn't fall off if you tried. You could not show up if you tried because it means that much to you. You wake up in the morning and it's right in front of your face. This is what I'm fighting for, and nothing will throw me off. Nothing. I want this for my kids. Get emotional about it. You know, your kids, your family, your husband, whoever you want it for, and whatever it is within you that you're fighting for, remind yourself of that every single day. And on the times that you don't want to show up, you are telling yourself that shit doesn't matter. You're telling yourself that you don't matter every single time you don't show up. And you've done that to yourselves enough. I've done it to myself enough. I'm not here for that anymore. I'm only about forward motion. You know, I don't even believe in steps back because if I fail, I'm failing that way, you know, never that way. I'm always going to learn from it. I'm always going to appreciate it. And I'm always going to keep growing and going to where, you know, going to where it is that I'm going, no matter how long it takes me to get there. If I had to start over tomorrow, it wouldn't even matter to me because nothing has that power to throw me off. Let me see. I don't even think that was something that I was talking about in my notes, but oh, yeah, I'll definitely say that. Um, are you teaching yourself about leadership? And what I mean by this is there are so many different books out there. There are so many different things that you can learn about leadership. Um, and there are so many moments that you could really step in and show your leadership. In the chats, you have an opportunity every single day. Within the group page, you have an opportunity every day. And on your own page, you have the opportunity every day to step up as a leader and just lead. It doesn't matter that you don't have a team, because when you start leading, that's when the team's going to come. But you can lead every single day. You lead by showing up. Every single day that you show up, you're someone's proof, you're someone's possibility. So show up and be that badass leader based on the fact that you have your hands on something that you see changing lives every single day. Be so confident about that. We 100% have the best compensation plan of all of them. And we know that. It doesn't matter where you are within it, it doesn't change what we have our hands on because you don't like where you are or it's going too slow or whatever the situation is. It's still grounded in fact that this is what's available here. And every single time you tell that to someone, they're going to see that. They don't know what rank you are. They don't even know what that means. They don't even know what that means. But no one ever joined me because I get the auto bonus. You know, no one's joining me because I was on this trip. People are joining me because the fire in my soul that I show every single day, that I've become vulnerable enough to share every single day. Yeah, Zoe's a badass, guys. Yeah, dream boards are huge, but leadership books and really learning how to be a leader and how to step up as a leader, how to posture yourself as a leader. Start to read that stuff if you haven't yet. Read about leadership and you'll be so inspired. There are so many books out there that just light my fire all the time. And there are like so many podcasts that you can listen to if reading is something that's hard for you to do. It's kind of hard for me to sit down sometimes and read a book where I listen to Audible all the time. I love listening to books. I love it. But you'll feel more confident in your leadership the more that you pour into yourself as a leader. You know, you'll feel more confident speaking to people about the products the more you go and learn about the products. You're going to feel more comfortable making a customer account and walking people through all of the things that we do in our business the more that you know, because knowledge is so key, you know. So teach yourself the things that you don't feel as confident about, so that the next time somebody asks you one of those questions, you're like, you know it right off the bat, you know. So the things that make you afraid, I really want you to go and learn about those things. Go dive into those things. The things that you know are the things that are holding you back, start there. Because if you're going to get these bonuses, or if you're going to get this trip, it's going to take some bold strokes, right? You're not going to do it staying the same. and you came here to literally grow. You came here to be that badass that goes as far as you want to go. So the time is now. Be it now. Don't wait. Don't wait yourself into never. Do those things that make you uncomfortable. And the way that you'll feel afterward, you might feel shaky and like your heart is beating way too fast, but I guarantee you it will light a fire under you like you've never felt before. So do the things that make you uncomfortable. Do those things first. Stop waiting. Because if you keep waiting to do those things, it's not going to happen. You're not going to get to where you're going by staying the same. You're going to have to grow. At some point, you're going to have to push the pedal to the metal and just fly. It doesn't matter what they think, because do any one of you guys want to be they? Do you want to be one of those theys? Because I certainly don't. And I used to let those people hold me back for a really long time because I was so scared of what they were going to think. But yes, they aren't paying my bills, but who are they anyways? I don't ever want to be associated with people like that. I'm all about just living from here, living from my soul, showing up every single day with passion and purpose. We have the opportunity here to literally run a business from our heart and soul. Where else do you get to do that? Where else can you just start a business for like $200, and run a business from your phone anywhere you are, literally bring it with you wherever you go. And it is about your heart and helping people feel better. We don't get the opportunity to do that many other places, Yeah, Tracy?
What other company can you even purchase products from, say what you love about them, and then they turn around and give you it for free?
Seriously.
You might get
No
a
other company
coupon.
does thriving
Yeah,
for
like
free.
a free sample or a coupon somewhere. You know what I mean? But you're not getting 100, 200, whatever it comes down to, $300 worth of product for free. No company does that. Amazing.
No company does it. And no
No.
company does the infinity fast starts over and over and over and over again for infinity. Nobody else does that. No one else has a company that you can really build as wide and as deep the way that you can here. There's a lot of things that I feel like nobody else has, but that's what we have our hands on. And the more that we talk about that, because people don't know what we don't tell them. They don't know what we don't tell them. We can assume that people know, but they don't know. I definitely assumed that people knew a lot of things before, and I didn't really put it in my posts. And then after a while, I realized I'm not being bold enough about what I have my hands on. Why am I assuming that people know this? Or why am I assuming that that person can only spend this much? How rude of me, to assume that someone can only spend X amount of dollars. Why? Because that number makes me uncomfortable. I don't know that that number makes that person uncomfortable. That person might want an $800 promoter pack, but here I am deciding for them, getting in their brain or their pockets. So if you find yourself doing that, definitely stop doing that, because I used to really assume like, oh, well, this person doesn't really have much money or whatever. That's one of the worst things that we can do. Just because a certain number makes us uncomfortable, it doesn't mean that it makes them uncomfortable. Let them decide. Just answer the questions for people and let them decide. But I was just totally going to say something else and I forget what it was. But yeah, where else in the world can you run a business from your phone wherever you are and do it from your heart and soul with passion and with your personal story? Because that's what it's all about. It's all about you and your personal story. You're just sharing yourself and what we have our hands on, and it grows and it grows and it grows and it grows, and it's crazy. Some people are going to say that the products are expensive, Sherry. I've definitely had people. I had a potential in my inbox a couple of days ago, and I told her how much it was, and she was like, "Oh, it's too expensive." And I said, "This is premium nutrition and vitamins. It's this is not your average vitamins that you're going to find in the supermarket, and it's well worth the price." I didn't hear back from her, but these products weren't for her. This is a lifestyle change. It's not going to be for everybody, and that's okay. I just moved right on for the next person that it is for. And you know what? Maybe one day it will be for her. I hope she keeps watching me and I'll follow up. I put her on my potential list. I'll certainly, keep her in mind, because I've heard no from so many people that are here right now. I heard no for a year from people, and then they eventually said yes. And we hear this on the Zooms all the time. I watched her for a year, or I watched her for 2 years. It happens all the time. And then running your business from your heart and soul as opposed to from our minds, because we can logically think, I need to do this, this, and this. But really, it's about connecting with people, and it's about sharing yourself and doing those harder things, the more vulnerable things that are going to get you further. If you can find a way for someone to feel in your posts what's possible for them, that's everything. Everything. I've been told so many times, it's not the products that brought me here, Jenna, it's you. There is so much power in that, that they just heard my story. I never said the products by name, because the people can buy these products from anyone. Why are they going to buy them from you? Would you join you? If you went to your page and you looked at it, can you tell that you have your hands on products that are really special? If you were a stranger looking at your page who just went there today, would they be able to tell enough information to know what it is that you have your hands on? Do they know that you have products? Do they know that you have a business opportunity? If you feel like people can't go to your page and figure that out based on what's on your stories and based on what's on your feed, then you need to go back and work on that and audit yourself every single week. I still audit myself every single week, all this time later, because I don't like to assume that, oh, I must have posted about it because I've been doing it for this long. There are definitely times I can drop the ball with that. So I go and I audit my stories and I audit my page and I make sure that I have that information up there for people to see. And with going to Mexico, I wasn't really posting opportunity stories as much as I normally do, because I didn't want to have like way too much stuff on my stories, and I would have. So during this past week, I didn't have as much, like, I don't know, opportunity type of content out as much as I normally do. So I decided that as soon as I get back here, I need to really go back and look at my page and audit it again and make sure that I get back on track. I could not wait to get back to just run at my business harder than I have been this entire time. I was so excited to get back so I could get back into a routine of just doing the damn thing. I'm ready for the growth. I'm ready for the things that make me uncomfortable. I'm ready for the things that make me scared, because I know that's what's going to get me from where I am to where I'm going. And my dreams are huge. They get bigger every single day, because every day I prove to myself what I'm capable of and what I'm worthy of, and what every single one of us are capable and worthy of as a team of one. Just within yourself, you are so capable of so much here. So show up for yourself. Remind yourself every single day why it is that you're here, what it is that you really want, not just in business, but in your life. What kind of life do you want to live? What kind of car do you want to drive? What places do you want to be able to go? What do you want for every single person who goes to your page and reads your posts and looks at your stories? What do you want them to know? Share that with them. Pour your soul into what you do every single day. Write posts that shake you and make you cry. Put it all out there on the line, because what do you have to lose? You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. You're going to have to come out of your shell if you want to make this work. And coming out of my shell is not something that's super easy for me. I get it. But you're going to have to if you're going to get to where you're going. You're going to have to do those things that you're holding yourself back from doing. There's going to come a time where it's like shit or get off the pot. And, you can do it. You wouldn't be here if you couldn't. Every single person is here because, like I was saying in that last Zoom, and a lot of people weren't on that last Zoom because it was a holiday, but I was saying that all of us felt something when we said yes to this. All of us functioned from a place inside that knows what we are capable of, and we said yes because we felt that spark. Function from that spark every single day, from the place that made you say yes to this, and from the place that keeps you here, from the place that keeps bringing you back and won't let you quit at this, because that part of you knows what you're capable of. Let that part of you speak. Be bold as F. Just go after it, because you're not going to regret it on the other side. Will it feel uncomfortable? Yes, probably. But that might be the one thing that gets you to where you're going. And then having gone through it, believe me, you'll be able to tell other people how to get through it a lot better if you've gone through it yourself, because people will come to you and they'll say, I'm scared and I don't know how to show up. I want this so bad. What do I do? You know? And you'll be able to answer those questions for people a hell of a lot more if you've walked through the fire yourself. Be willing to walk through the fire for your team, for every single person who joins you. Walk first. Walk first. And it's contagious. When we get into that zone, it's contagious. Other people will catch it. I've seen it happen so many times in the chats. One time, Brittany posted because she was feeling really on fire because something happened. I forget what it was. But right after she did that post, I saw 3 other people go and post that hadn't posted in months because they caught Brittany's fire. It is a contagious thing. People will catch it. My kids have caught it. I see my kids function so differently now than they ever did when I was laying in bed every day. They function completely differently. They fight for things every day because they see me fight for things every day. And they hear all of these things that I say to you guys and that I say in my lives and on my page. And they've become like beasts within themselves when it comes to something that they want because I'm being that example and I'm walking first. And will it burn a little bit? Will it sting? Possibly. But if it can get you closer to where you're going, it doesn't matter. You're going to get to a point where you'll run right through it. You'll run right through it and not even care. You're like, bring it on, turn the heat up, let's go. And that's how I felt when we were in Meg's room. I felt like what my initial reaction was like, holy shit, no way. Why am I in this room? Why did I come here? And then to like, yeah, I'm ready. I wanted it so bad in that moment to just go live with those people and their energy. As nervous as I was going to be, however I would have looked, it didn't matter because I'm here for that. I'm here for the growth. I'm here for the things that make me uncomfortable. Where I'm going, there is no room for comfort zones. That's how big my dreams and goals are. There is no room for me to second guess myself and pick myself apart and have low self-esteem and all of that. Will I still feel some of that shit because I'm a human being and that's just how we are conditioned to be? Of course. But will it stop me from moving? Fuck no. Nothing will stop me from moving. I've decided to be bulletproof. And you know what? Because I make that choice every single day to be bulletproof. That's what I am now. Because that's what I tell myself in my head every single day. And so I became that way over time, Well, thank you, Tracy. But being bulletproof and being able to rely on myself like that was never something that I had. I routinely let myself down. I routinely quit. That was my go-to all the time. And it's changed. I was telling Gloria this over the weekend. It's changed the way I do everything. I make my bed every morning now. I never used to make my bed every morning. Now when I come home from a trip, I don't have my suitcases out for 3 weeks, packed with all the shit in there, living out of that because I just had nothing. I had no energy or no drive in me to put that stuff away. Now it's like, I want to put it away. I want to keep my life organized. I want to keep going. I know I'm the example every single day for my kids. For Paul, I'm the example every day for myself of who I want to be. I might not want to put that shit away, but I'm going to because I said I am this person. And so I'm going to live to that every single day. I'm not going to break promises to myself. Thank you, Tracy. And every single time that I showed up for myself when it was harder, I grew. Every single time we show up for ourselves during those hard moments, we grow. You will look back a year from now and be like, who the hell was that? Who is that person who walked in the door? And I can look at every single one of you guys and I see so much changes in so many of you guys. And fight for this. Fight for it. Move in faith every single day that as long as you are fighting for it, as long as you are moving, you're going to get there. And know that you deserve it, If it makes you feel uncomfortable, good, you're right on track. Do that. Yeah, I really never used to be a disciplined person. I never was. I've been a procrastinator. I've been lazy. I've quit at things. My whole life, that's who I've been. But I changed the language that I speak inside of my head and I became my own best friend instead of my worst enemy. because we can be, I mean, it's like we're conditioned to think that way. You hear that all the time. You hear sayings like, oh, we're our own worst enemy. Why do we think that way? No, I'm not my own worst enemy, and I never will be again. I'm going to be my own best friend all the way, every single day. I'm going to stand up for myself and the things that I want every day. And if I hear someone saying that I'm my own worst enemy, I'm going to say, only because you choose to be. You could choose at any point to reset that shit. Change the language that you speak in your head. If you find yourself like going in that downward spiral, stop yourself, do a change technique, do whatever it takes. And it doesn't matter if you look silly doing it or what other people are going to think. Those people, your worst critics, they'll eventually copy your moves if you keep going. They'll be coming to you for advice. All those people that you think are going to criticize you, that you think that you're scared of what they think, they're looking for someone like you to stand up and show them how it's done. Have that level of confidence when you do what you do. All right, that was really it, unless anybody has anything that they wanted to say. Does anybody have anything that they wanted to say?
I do, really quick.
Okay. Go
You
for it.
kept touching on the moment in that room, like with all of them. Like we were with them the whole entire time, but there was just this one moment where it was just Brielle, Christina, and Meg, and then Meg and Christina's like hubbies, right?
Just rub it in,
So
rub it in.
listen, no, but in this moment though, it was like I was crying the whole entire time, and the emotions, it was different emotions every time. And but when I was in that room and she was like, let's go live, like she's like, she was pushing me to get out of my comfort zone. And I appreciated that. And I was like, all right, let's do it. You know what I mean? And then I had gone to the bathroom, I came out, and we just ended up leaving. But the thing that night when we went up, like when we were at the end of the night, I was in the bathroom and I looked at my phone, like from all the notifications that I had, and I was tagged in all of the people's things that I followed and I've been inspired by. I was a part of their things, and now I can't ever go back. I can't ever not get these trips. I can't ever not fight to be a part of something now that I'm a part of. You know what I mean? Like I can't, even if I don't get the trips, I'm still going to fight as hard as I can. It's something that I built friendships with these people now, and it's like very weird and different, like than just talking on Zoom. And I met most of them when I went to Palooza, and it was really cool, but getting to like hang out and not have like conferences and stuff, it was different. It was really different. But the moment that I realized that I was being tagged in people's stories and like posts and stuff that I used to follow and adore, like we're the same as them. We're no different. Like we just have to rise to the occasion. That's it.
Yeah, it was really apparent when you're with them that like we can put people on a pedestal. You know what I mean? Where if we're looking at them on Zooms all the time, we can think like Lindsay's a different animal or she's a different type of person because she's up here and she's talking to us. Believe me, when you're in person, she's just the same. You know what I mean? They're just people just like us. And the only difference is time and finding those things that they had to find in their own business to push through. But everyone is just so normal and so just like awkward and goofy and human, just like we are. Just like we are. And they just found that thing. They just got to that point, and instead of having that point scare them so they ran the other way, they fucking plowed through it, And that's why I'm like, bring it on if it makes me uncomfortable. Now I know I'm on track. Now I know even though it's uncomfortable, I'm right where I need to be, and I'm going to do everything in my power to burst through that wall. Because on the other side is so much more growth. I'm not going to get to 40K being the same as I am right now as a 12K. I'm not, and I came pretty damn close during the bonus season. And when they announced the rank up bonuses, I was like, oh, yay. And I saw myself base it in a number. So I'm like, oh, this rank up bonus. And all of a sudden I felt like so much more fire. Like I'm going to run for 40K. And then when I saw that it wasn't even for 40K, I had already realized that I had done that. And it was like, whatever, it's not about the number for me. And actually, it's not even about a $40,000 bonus. I'll hit 4K on Paul's account. I'll hit 12K on Paul's account so I can bring more of you on these trips. I'm going to fight for those things, but I will not do it being the same as I am today, because tomorrow I need to wake up and I need to keep going. Even if tomorrow is a hard day, even if I'm busy. When I was in Mexico, I never missed a day. I kept my consistency. At one point, Meg said, "How consistent would you say you are?" And I said, "Extremely." And she said, "I know. I just wanted to see what you were going to say." Because I'm known to be that consistent person. And it blows my mind, because if you knew me before, it's not who I was.
Can I say
Not
something?
who I was.
So
Huh?
we're going away, like just for a couple days. I said, if you expect me, I said to my husband, if you expect me not to post my stuff, about my products and take pictures about my trip, well, no, I'm not doing Zooms, but I'm doing that,
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like waking up, taking my capsules, taking everything, post, that's just what I do. It's like, that's it.
Yeah, it's almost like brushing our teeth or doing the other
Putting your
daily
clothes on, put
Yeah.
this on, or when you go without your clothes. I said something on a I think it was a post about that. Yeah, I'm like, I put them on like I put my clothes on.
Yeah.
If I could do, Jenna, like what you and everybody else says is to, if you have something coming up like that, to take a few pictures, get like a post going, and kind of, even if you just, I've sent text messages to myself, just kind of like different text messages about like posts I want to do, but lay out a couple different posts. That way, when you are away on vacation, you know what I mean? You can just kind of like boop, boop, you are always telling me to do that, Jenna. And that's something I have to learn how to do too, is kind of prepare, for a week that I might, like I was just sick recently and I didn't. And I basically did not post the whole entire time I was sick. It was awful. I couldn't come up with how I felt. I couldn't come up with words for different things because I didn't feel good. If I had pre-planned for a time like that I could just kind of put out a post, I probably would have bought in sales this week. And I didn't.
Set yourself up to be consistent.
Exactly.
I see your hand, Sonia, and then we'll close this out unless anybody else has something to say.
Hey, sorry guys, I had to step upstairs for a minute, so I missed a little bit of it. I feel so bad, but I just listened right now, and I thought I knew how to plan. So maybe you guys did talk about this, but the planning Zoom, because I'm like, how do these people do it that are like so high up, that have busy lives? Some of them still work, some of them have kids. I'm like, if they can do it, we all can, whatever we have going on. And what they do is like write out your goals, like how many samples you want to sell for the week. And if you have that in your mind, I actually noticed that it helped me more actually like achieve those. So doing the planning Zoom sheet, like you go in and you put all your personal things that are important, because you know what, our personal life is important no matter what we have going on. So there is a way to do it no matter what. So the planning Zoom is really helpful, and I'm so happy about you guys getting the trip and everything else. But yeah, I felt bad because I missed some of it, but I just came back, so that's it.
That's okay. Hey, at least you came back. I guess I'm just going to leave it off at, what are you willing to do to get this trip? What are you willing to do to get the bonuses? What are you willing to do to fight for the things that you want in your life? And really, ask yourself that question. Is it worth it to you? Are you willing? Well, then you can't expect that. Totally, Zoe. You cannot expect to get to and surpass a goal that you've never set for yourself. If you set your goals, if you actually set the goals, it's more scientifically proven that you'll get them. But anyways, what are you willing to do? How uncomfortable are you willing to get to 200K, to get to 80K, to get to 40K, 12, 4, the trips, the bonuses? What are you willing to do? Are you willing to get uncomfortable? Are you willing to go face to face? Are you willing to push yourself to do the live? Are you willing to push yourself to get emotional or share excitement or whatever it is? Get consistent, whatever it is for you. Ask yourself that question every single day. What are you willing to do? Is it worth it to me? And if you find yourself saying no, go back to your why. That was really it. I love you guys. I will see you on the 9 o'clock Zoom. Those of you who did message me about the group, I'm going to start that by Wednesday. I would say by Wednesday morning. And I just want to push each other to be the best versions of ourselves, to be that badass person that we all know that we are. Because we wouldn't have said, yes, add me to that group if you're not already. You have every single thing you need to do this. Let's just run first. Run over the coals. Love you guys.
Bye, thank you.
Thank you.